I will tell you one thing. You know, these
The way that they butchered Halo and
mm, mm,
destroyed
mm, mm.
The Last of Us. What do you think?
You know, that Halo show had a lot of potential. I would say. You know, I think they had something really good going there. You know, just my opinion, of course.
Potato.
Mm. Until they, I'm pretty sure you probably heard about this. Uh, show Master Chief's face. You know, I just think it's one of
Who's
those
that?
things.
The fuck? I've been up
You
here for
know,
6 weeks. That's the first person I've seen. I gotta see this. Oh, 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 oh,
huh?
oh, oh.
Huh? Was that a wagon? Huh? You know, I think I accidentally called my bounty wagon. You know, um, let's just say I'm hunting people. But you know,
It's
don't mind that. You know, don't mind that. Don't worry about that.
it's
Let's just
crazy because
huh? Yes,
I'm running from people.
really, but
We can
no,
talk
no,
about that later.
yeah.
Tell me, hey, you ever watch the Halo show?
You know, I did try to watch it. I had a buddy of mine always talk about it. I really, really wanted to get into it until they started showing his face. It's one of those things like, why? Why did you show his face? What do you think about that?
I tend to agree with you on that. I mean, they made that entire series based off of a game where, just like Spider-Man was in the beginning, could be anybody under that mask, and they decided to put a white man under it.
Mm,
After
mm,
that,
mm, mm. We'll check it out. I think
they decided to show his face.
Pablo
Well,
was a
the
good.
actor isn't a bad guy. He's a great actor. Just showing his face was not the right move. Sorry.
Now,
I could understand showing it if they tried to kill him off, but
mhm.
literally the first 5 fucking minutes of seeing him, you know, he's showing his face to some random person. He didn't even show his face to her. She knew what he looked like. She knew what was under that mask, what was under that brain. He was a fighter, a lover, a killer, a man for all men. Some of
You
us
know,
weaker than others.
mm, I could drink to that.
They decided for the Last of Us show to do something similar, something more grievous. They decided to cast a potato as the main actor. And you might think, how wow, a potato? What kind of sick joke is this? I'm not kidding when I tell you, a fucking potato. Not the type of potato that flew around Frank Ocean's room. The type that doesn't show any facial expression, doesn't look like, isn't old enough to even understand the pain that we went through when we lost Joel at first. And having to lose him a second time, and watching that potato show nothing,
Mhm, mhm.
it just hurt me.
I think that show, like I said, had a lot of potential. I mean, it really was good. I like that actor Pablo. You know, he was in a lot of movies. I'm not sure if you heard of that one movie called Den of Thieves. He played it really
Great
well in that
movie.
first one.
I love that
Really good.
movie.
Excellent,
One of the
right?
best.
Yeah, totally. I agree. And then, you know, I'm sure him being in this show will probably, you know, give a lot of good stuff, but no. It's just, I love a lot of the combat scenes I see myself, and I was like, wow, you know, this is really good. And there you go, you know, just showing the face. And I think that kind of brought it down, the show. You know, I can say a lot of people could agree that showing the person's face, especially when it comes to the to this specific game, you shouldn't do. You know, like at least try to follow up to the game as much as possible. And then, I mean, there's a lot the game has to offer for you to make into a show. Don't have to follow it all the way to the teeth, you know. But at least one thing: do not show his face. It's a mystery. It's a secret.
It's a travesty
You know.
to do such a thing.
Wow, this is really a good view. Honestly, this is You see that smoke over there? I was looking over there. Huh.
Quite a distance away.
Yeah, I was just pulling out my binoculars. I keep that
Thinking
thing
about
on me.
the river, not the river, the
Yeah.
backwater on the ledge, looking above one of the. I know this place quite well. I don't know if you know, but
Oh, you hear that? It's that bear,
fish don't
man.
live here. Fish don't live here. They don't come up here.
No,
Too high up.
no, not at all.
They're afraid of heights. So am I.
You know, being in the mountain on top of the stove remind me of an episode. This show called the Last of Us. You heard of that? Hmm.
Yes.
I reckon.
I was interested.
Hold on. Hmm. You know, I got these from Cuba. Pretty good.
I robbed these from a guy who was on a ship coming from Cuba. What a
Huh.
coincidence.
What a coincidence. That's very interesting. But what do you think about that show, The Last of Us? You think
I'll
he's
tell you
got
something about The Last of Us. Season 1, one of the best things I've ever seen. Couple episodes in it, couple things that happened. Wasn't that bad. I wasn't minding the actor at the time because I didn't realize how bad it was going to be whenever it came to the more emotions. Considering the fact that at the end of it, she did really good playing no emotions, considering she died. And yeah, they brought season 2 out and they ruined everything. They ruined everything. It was going so well. It was actually on another level of well. Matter of fact, I'd argue to say it was on chart to be one of the number one shows on HBO, just
I
like Game
heard.
of Thrones.
I heard it's supposed to be really good. Like, come on now.
And
And I heard they had a lot
for the
of
story to go,
potatoes.
and they
Go
just
on.
kept bringing in these sacks of potatoes, and you just can't get away from it at this point.
Oh man, it's
Just need a moment.
yeah, I understand. I understand. You know.
Ellie was a great character, but now I don't know what to think about her anymore. The way that they
Mm,
butchered her,
dang it.
kind of like how they showed Master Chief's face. Bella Ramsey. I don't want to comment. Matter of fact, she wasn't too bad, considering that the best thing she ever did for Game of Thrones was get killed off.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me tell you
I think
something.
that's one of the best things.
Let me tell you something. When I tell you that they had the greatest story in their hands, they had the greatest story in their hands for zombie shows, movies, TV shows, movies, anything. Games, books, comics, merchandise. They had it all. Everybody loved it.
I mean, don't get me
But
wrong.
now
They
that
had
you
an
know
amazing cast. A lot of
where
good people in there. Good actress, good actors. You know. And I just think that a lot of these people do not know how to run these shows. Like, what's going on? I think the shows from back in the
back in
days were so much better than they are nowadays. You know, minus
it's gone
the
downhill.
graphics and the sound effects and the background and the AIs and all that good stuff they use now to make it look so realistic. And I mean, back then they didn't have that. Nowadays they do, but it's like it's missing so much. I just think that Hollywood, all these other shows as well that are producing all these good shows, and ain't like they used to be. Now I say you give me a good budget and these actors, and I'll show you how a Halo show is done. You know, I'll tell you what. Let me start all the way from the beginning. All right, and let me show you how it's done. Because one of my favorite characters of all in the game of Halo is Johnson. You know, Johnson's a great character all around, best character you think of. So I'm sure you have a good character that you love very much on The Last of Us.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, who doesn't? Who doesn't love Ellie? Ellie's great. She's the main character of the second one. She
Yes,
goes through all of that stuff in the first one, and when she comes to the second one, you enter it with all the knowledge from the first one after playing it. And it's the greatest thing ever when you open that title and you have the main character of the first one playing a guitar. You know, if you're keeping up with everything, you know that you're going to be Ellie for this one. It's mainly Ellie, right? So you don't know what to expect. And then you start off as Joel, and you're like, holy shit, we might actually be able to play as Joel. And it's amazing. As a matter of fact, I am still working my way through the live stream. I haven't been doing it because I've been busy, but I'm probably going to get back to doing it tomorrow or the next day. So that way I can finish because it's a great game. And I don't know why HBO decided to go the way that they went. But if you gave me that budget, you gave me all of that, you let me start over from the beginning, you let me do the casting, it'd probably be $1 billion show.
absolutely. I totally agree. I think they just they're giving all these good shows to the wrong people, and they don't even know what to do with it. They think they know what we want, but
The
they
only
don't know that.
show I think that's doing it right is Fallout. Fallout is the only show I think is doing
I
what it
agree.
was
I agree.
game fans.
Now, I'm sure there's a lot of critics out there that are gonna probably go up against what we're saying as far as The Last of Us and Halo, and everyone has their opinion, but they've never been really in depths and roots with these two games and two shows, you know. But yeah, I agree. Fallout is by far right now the best show out there right now. I mean, as far as in my opinion, I play a little bit of the game. Yeah, I think it's amazing all around. I mean, think about the actor, the main guy. I mean, come on now, it doesn't get better than that.
That's the thing about The Last of Us. There is no main guy. In Fallout, there is no main guy. In Halo, there's a main guy, and they fucked it by showing his face.
To me, Walton will be kind of like the main guy to me. I know he might seem like the villain type, but honestly, he's been in
You're
a lot of
saying
good. Yeah, I love
Lars,
his comedy. I've seen him in so many movies. One of my personal favorite movies that he was in is Django. I know he's into some other TV series as well besides the Fallout, but
he's great in the Hateful Eight. He's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. To me,
He's an
if I know
amazing
you,
gangster movie actor.
yeah, he plays
And
excellent.
the fact that he does just that in Fallout in modern times and after the nuke, it's insane how good he can be when it comes to seeming like he's supposed to be a bad guy. But deep down, he's actually a good guy.
Yeah, I think a lot of nowadays, a lot of the villains are actually the good guys, and the good guys are actually, you know, the villains.